Welcome to the Space Jam.
A year and a half. You said, I have a great idea for a series. Let's watch movies and shows, mainly movies from the 90s that we remember as kids being great. And you said, my top one is Lost in Space 1998. And I said, yes, I also remember that movie. And then we went on to talk about everything but Lost in Space. And the reason is that this movie is cursed. It has cursed our life. It has ruined many things about our existence. It literally has become a running joke where the fact that we're recording tonight is a miracle. It is a blessing. It's so we set out to record this over a year and a half ago, and then my side of the family had like major issues, and
Yeah.
then your family had some major health issues, and it was just this back and forth like every single time we would like, and it wasn't just like around the time of like be like, oh, this thing happened Monday, let's push off the recording Friday.
Right.
It was like, hey, so I'll see you tonight on Zoom. And then that day was like, hey, so my dad's in the hospital. And that's literally how it went. Like
Yeah,
every
I know.
single
It
time
really did.
we would set a date for this episode, and that date something awful.
Terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, so I didn't think we were ever going to talk about this movie. I literally, even today, you had stuff
Yeah.
happen
Oh, yeah.
where, where you almost died 3 times.
I was 100% waiting when I texted you the Zoom link. You were going to be like, no.
Oh God, no. Mm-mm.
You were going to be like, hey, so the house is on fire and I can't get to the computer right now.
I'll just send you a picture of like my hand like stub like at the hospital. Yeah.
I can still do it.
The Lost in Space curse got us again.
So
Yes.
now we get the full context of 90s Rewind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Legitimately, what happened without getting into all the finer private details. I literally was going through my going through the year in February, no, in March. I was going through and of last year and looking at movies and TV shows so that I can like do anniversaries of said thing
Mm-hmm.
on my Instagram account. And I was going through and I got to 98, which would have been the 25th anniversary of any film that came out in 98
Mm-hmm.
or anything. So I get to it, Lost in Space. It was early in the year. It was April. So a few days ago from us recording this was the 26th anniversary of the movie. But
Yeah.
last year it was the 25th anniversary. And I texted you quick, and we were in the process of doing our normal nerd hole stuff. And I texted you quick and I said, hey, do you got any time in like some random day? I forget what it was, like to do this quick. And you were like, no, I really honestly don't. I wish I could, but I don't. I don't have the time. Okay, no big deal. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a last minute kind of request. So it was not that big of an issue. And then like we were busy in April. I was busy in May. We went to Georgia and saw Taylor Swift and all that stuff, like all this stuff. And then you had your cookout in June. And in
Oh
that
yeah.
in that interim, I had also realized that I had remembered Indian in the cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
So to not feel like it's just like, oh, this is well, like I'm just using nerd holes as a way to
Yeah, make
like
me
talk
watch
about
Lost in
movies
Space.
like talk about movies I want to talk about. I was like, I talked to you at your cookout and I said, hey, why don't you come up with 2 movies since I got 2 movies and we'll do this thing. And then literally we started it. I don't remember when we did the shark one. That was the first one we did. because
Yeah.
I ordered them in release date. Now, technically, I didn't have to do that, but it just felt
Yeah. This is just
it
how you
felt
do
right.
things.
And so we did that, and then, like you said, it was literally just family emergency after family emergency
We recorded
until
every other 90s Rewind episode
yeah,
until Lost in Space, and then it was like tragedy struck every time.
yeah. And then when we got to the end of the year, we paused Nerd Hole stuff for the basement, and then
Oh
which
yeah.
was fine. And we were like, it's fine, who cares? Like it's okay. And then when we went to go start up again to do this in March, then I started to have family emergencies.
You know.
And it was crazy. It's just like it's crazy. And then today, and so here we are, like you said, here we are. The reason for the whole series was just so I could talk about this movie a year ago. Uh
Yeah.
so
So, with all that being said, and with taking none of that into consideration, how does this movie hold up from your childhood? Absolutely hated
rubbish.
it.
No.
Absolute
Um
rubbish.
so in the order of our thing, it would be Indian in the cupboard, the shark thing, this, James. That's how I would do it. But as an overall movie looking back, I did not dislike it. I still enjoy it to a degree, and I don't think it is a terrible movie. But the like level of like campiness and like
Mm-hmm.
just acting that was like
Yeah.
AI wrote it. Like
Uh-huh.
now you must say this line or act this scene. That's
Yeah.
just how it felt. And it's tough because like William Hurt is a great actor, Gary Oldman, a phenomenal actor,
Mm-hmm.
and like um Matt LeBlanc, like he's fine on Friends. I
Yeah,
don't
he's
think he's
he's
a
pretty
bad
good.
actor as Joey at all.
I think he's good in this movie.
And I think he's good in this movie too. But like Ian, what's her name too? I forgot. Heather Locklear, I think is her name or something
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that.
I couldn't
Like
believe when I saw her in this. I was like, man, I forgot she was even in this movie.
it's just one of those things that like there's a lot of good actors in it, and the movie is this literally feels like the Sci-Fi Channel like made it back when the Sci-Fi Channel was like
Mm,
putting out kind of like trashier content.
pretty good movies. Yeah, this was back when sci-fi was doing good movies.
Yeah. So I like it. I don't dislike it. It definitely has that feeling of like, ah, yes, I can understand why like a 10-year-old would
It's
love this movie.
it's very how do I say this? It's very, you can tell the age of it based on the jokes
Every
and
yeah,
who is
literally, yeah.
cast in it, like who was popular at the time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. Yes.
It's very much that, like, that's how it stands out. But so
So
you're telling
yeah.
me you're gonna sit here with a straight face and you're telling me that you're putting James and the Giant Peach above this?
No, 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 no. James is at the
No.
bottom.
Okay. Because you did that order thing and you said Indian,
Indian's
Shark,
number one,
James,
then
and then
Shark is
this.
number two, this, and then James.
Okay. No, that's fine. That I agree with. I just misheard you then, I guess. 'Cause I was like,
No, 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 no. I would not put James above it. No.
no, okay, good. Because that, man, that movie's trash. I forgot how bad that movie is.
No.
Uh,
So this is the thing that I think you'll like, what do you want to say? Like you'll like also agree with. So you know how there were some things in your childhood that like you may not have even have watched the thing or participated in it, but you had things of from it. Do you know
mhm.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't have anything here on the desk, but like you never watched, Batman the animated series, but you had all the toys kind of thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
so this was a perfect example of this movie. I honestly probably saw this movie once in theaters and then probably 3 or 4 more times on cable. I don't think I ever owned it on VHS or DVD. I still don't own it on Blu-ray or DVD. I've never really watched it that much. But
Mm.
I had, and I've looked them up on eBay. I had the Jupiter 2 spaceship,
Oh yeah, I saw
the
those.
sound with the sound effect and the little like metal eating spider things that were like
Yeah.
magnets that you could stick to the ship on certain
Oh,
sections
that's
of the
cool.
ship.
That's pretty sweet.
And you could like parts of it would like come off or no, that's all right. You would press down like a harder plastic button and like parts of the ship would like open like it was going in the whatever they called it, like fast travel, like light speed travel. I had
Yeah.
that. I had a uh blue robot um motion activated alarm clock. So it was an alarm clock, and then if you turn certain settings on, um he would like activate and he'd be like danger, danger, or whatever when like he would walk
Mm,
by and he would like move and do stuff. And
that's
then I
cool.
had the Don West like action figure, the
Mm,
Matt LeBlanc's like guy.
that's cool.
So, and I think I had something else too. I think I might have had Penny and the monkey and the so but yeah,
Yeah,
I just like
I saw
I
that
had them all.
ship. I saw that ship you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I was looking. So I think we've talked about before. We do these little trophy section for
Mhm.
our episodes. So I was looking up. I'm always looking up stuff like how to color schemes and stuff to paint
Yeah.
stuff. And just like always, um, you see like a ship in a movie, and it's like, yeah, it's silver. And then you go look up like the actual models or like the reproduction, and it's like all this crazy like
Yeah.
colors and striping, and it's like I don't remember any of that stuff being on here. Like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Star Trek is like that too, where it's like
Yeah.
it's like the NX-01 is white, but it's got all this stuff and logos, and it's like all this stuff you don't even see on it.
Right.
But yeah, I saw that ship you were talking about like comes apart, and it was really cool. It had all the lights and stuff in it.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So I think for both of us, I think we both grew up kind of watching like the original show
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
I know my mom loved it and watched it all the time.
Yeah.
And
It was a thing when it was like on Nick at Night or something. They would
yeah,
sometimes play it like, science fiction Saturday or something like that. And they would play like older sci-fi shows like Twilight Zone and Outer
yeah.
Limits and
Oh
Lost
man,
in
yeah.
Space and stuff and Star Trek and
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So mom and I used to watch all that stuff. Yeah. Yep.
yep.
And that was in fact like one of like the last things that like we kind of had watched together was the
Oh,
first
the
season, like the
Netflix.
Netflix thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't watched it since, so I don't know. I don't know if it's good or not. So,
Yeah. I never finished the first season, so I don't know.
yeah. But that's the thing that kind of surprised me about this movie was that there were a lot of like nods to the original show that I
Yeah.
appreciated. I
Yes.
thought that was kind of cool.
Very, very much so.
Yeah. Even when the robot is kind of like new, but then he kind of
Oh,
refits
yeah.
it and like
Yeah.
fixes it and puts that other dome like that. I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That was cool.
So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. Maybe I was just in a good mood when I watched it too.
Probably.
And I had a good time watching it. But yeah, like I totally get what you mean when you say it's really campy, it's really like dated. A lot of the
Yes.
comedy is dated and a lot of like
Yes.
the scenarios are pretty dated.
The dialogue just feels very forced.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't feel like natural people just talking to each other. And it's almost like when these two are having this conversation, somebody's gonna say the stereotypical thing. It's like, oh, the father and son don't get along, and then the scene comes where it's like, oh, are they gonna have tension? And then he's just like, great job, son, great work. And he like walks out of the room, and it's just like it's paint by numbers dialogue. Like, you know what I
And you
mean?
know what's funny is like that is what we were expecting from like Indian in the cupboard.
It's true. I
And that
really
movie
honestly
like
was.
did not have any of that stuff, you know?
No, it really
Like you
didn't.
said, the thing that stood out in that movie was like the parents were normal, like the siblings were all like normal. It was like very much like a
It
normal family, you know?
uh it was just nice that they cared about each other. It was just really funny.
Yeah, this movie, it's such a hard thing anyway to be like, hey, so family, yeah, we all have to go to space. We
Yeah.
all have to do this for daddy's work. We all have to go live in space for 3 years. It's like, no, you have a good time, Dad. I'm not leaving. I'm not going to space for no 3 years, you know?
Well, it just makes me laugh because you think about it, right? It's like father is a scientist and he's trying to save the earth and he's serious and has to do these things. And then it's like, but his children are neglected and the mother is sort of involved, but problems at school, teacher things. And then it's like
Mhm.
he comes in and it's like, look, your son is amazing and he's trying, he's calling out for help and your attention. And he's like, but the earth is dying. And then they go to the next scene and it's like, Don West, you're reckless in space with your actions. And he's like, but it got the job done, didn't it? And then they're like, but you're going to work with this scientist. And he's like, a nerd. And, it's just like, it was just like
Yeah.
over
It's
and
just
over.
progression, progression, progression. And then even like the day comes where like they're on the ship and
Oh,
it's like, oh yeah, this is also my oldest daughter. She's a brilliant scientist. And it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what? Families all over the place.
But you're a woman. And so therefore you have to be attracted to me.
That's basically the basic story is that this family had to get lost in space to have the time to communicate with
To
each other
communicate.
and grow as a family.
And
So
it's,
they could finally see everyone's
yeah.
potentials.
And to be fair, right? Like we talked about
Yeah.
how it
I
ties into the
like
old
yeah,
show.
yeah.
And that's the reality of it. Is like that was the show. The show was very much this family trying to get along and figure out their personalities through episodes, right? But it was like you
Yeah.
had multiple episodes to like have character like development and
Yeah.
conversation
Not
instead of
not
like,
an hour and a half.
yeah, right.
It's funny too. You also forget like movies back in the day. Like you forget like the runtime is so not even close to what modern movies are.
Not even. This is like now how like kid movies are. Kids movies are like 90 minutes long. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah, I
this
think
if
like
this
Kung
came
Fu
out
Panda is
today,
longer.
yeah, oh yeah. Like if this came out today, like if this come out on this like next Friday, this would be easily over a 2 hour movie. This would be like a 220, 215 hour movie.
That makes me sick. They wouldn't even crash land on that planet till like halfway through.
No, no. No, and the
Uh,
stuff at the end, instead of it being like the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes, it'd be like the last 40, like half an hour, like 45 minutes would be them dealing with the bubble and going to the ship and like
yeah,
like they would reveal stuff a lot slower.
yeah, yeah, right. It'd be this build up. Yeah, yeah. So let's just see here quickly. We took notes when we watched this a while ago. So
A month
okay,
ago.
we're kind of doing this by the seat of our pants, which I know that's a shock because usually we're so organized.
So organized.
So, right here, like first thing off my notes,
Yeah, yeah.
were you as surprised to see Lenny James as I was?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Well, so first of all, I didn't look at the casting when I watched
Oh,
it.
okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, why, right? Yeah.
I was like, okay, is that Joey? And I was like, okay, yeah, that's Joey. And then I was like, is that Morgan? Yeah, that's Morgan. And then I was like, is that Eliza Thornberry? what, what is going on in this movie?
Then you're like, is that what the heck is his name?
The other,
Thaddeus Ross? Is
yeah.
that his name? General Ross
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
from a handful of Marvel movies.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Arrest that man.
It's just crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. All that stuff all over the place. Let's see. I wrote down that I enjoyed the space suits. I
Yeah,
thought the female versions of the spacesuits were a little
yeah,
um 90s, let's just say.
yeah. Let's just say that. Yeah, yeah.
Um let's see. I liked the Jupiter launch. I thought that was a cool visual when they were launching.
Yeah. So I had 2058 is when
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
so
Because they do this
2058 is
whole
when,
like like
yeah.
major storyline in the beginning too, and it's just like what? I didn't remember any of the beginning of this movie. Where like
Yeah, it's
Earth
something
has been
about,
at war for 40 decades, and we're running out of resources, and there's no more water.
yeah.
And I was like,
There's
what?
like a faction
Space,
who's trying to like take over things or
the
something.
space
Yeah.
pirates are trying to destroy everything. It's like, what? What is
Yeah. So I was thinking that's only like 30 years from now.
Oh no.
Um, and then during the battle, they had those cool. I thought the islands effects was pretty neat when they were flying the ships.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I thought that
Their ships
CGI.
remind me of Guardians when they're
Yes,
flying the mining little round mining things.
you're gonna hurt me. Do you remember the video game
Oh God.
Freelancer?
No.
Okay. It was a PC game called Freelancer, and you could like you get certain ships, and the ships reminded me of that game too.
That's funny.
Um, and we already talked about it. I wrote very stereotypical dialogue during opening battle, but that's okay. We've already talked about that at
Mhm.
length. But when you said the thing, because we're at the part where we're talking about the launch. I had the launch control guy's voice didn't match his look.
Yeah.
I remember this guy was like really burly or something. I
Yeah.
can't quite remember, but he looked a certain way, and he was like, "Oh, ready for
Ready
lunch."
for lunch. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's just
I
like
remember that.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't think that's his voice. Yeah.
So the cool thing with that launch that I don't, you probably picked up on too,
Well, we'll
is
see. Might be my next note.
so Jupiter 2.
No.
So Jupiter 2 is the way that, how do I say this? Okay, when the thing is coming up and it's being launched into space, it looks like a giant UFO
Oh
and
yeah.
it's being pressed through space. And
Isn't
then
that what the original?
it goes like "Ba-zang," and then the ship comes out, right? And that's Jupiter 2.
Yeah.
And I wrote Jupiter 2 in the show is the look of Jupiter 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I did. I did. I thought that was cool. I like it a lot. The thing that I wrote down, I thought you were going to talk about was that the shot that I really thought was cool on the launch was that when they were putting all the family in stasis,
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a really cool like filming choice that like each member of the family down the line showed like a different part, like the next
Oh
part in
yeah.
order. So it's like it started with, the kid and it had like his feet enclosed, and then it went to Penny and she had like the chest or
Yeah.
whatever, and then the arms, and then I think the dad was finally like the helmet or whatever, like
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah,
stasis.
yeah.
I just thought that was a really cool choice to
It was a really cool
this is
choice.
how this whole thing functions, but we'll show each family member getting like the next piece in order.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
It was really cool actually. Yeah. I liked it too because I remember it happening. It was like the thing came across their eye and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool.
I went to sleep for 10 minutes.
And I like how Gary Oldman very much is acts like the guy from the 60s show.
Oh,
His
absolutely. The
acting and
sneevling
like,
little,
right?
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, oh my hand. Ooh, oh." Yeah, he's just like he acted like that guy
You
in that
hate
movie.
him. You hate him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't it funny? Whenever I see Gary Oldman, I'm always like, that guy, he he does not look like Commissioner Gordon at all. Like every time I see him, whenever I see him in anything else, I'm like, that's not who that is. Hmm.
He's also he's
Yeah.
also the um the Fifth Element guy.
Oh yeah.
with the hair.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
What's what's wow, now we're getting into Chris Tucker, right? Oh,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
so good at
yeah.
I'm good.
Ah,
Oh my God, Calvin. Calvin. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
great movie.
I used
Yeah,
to up to like a probably 10 plus years ago. I used to listen to that opera scene music like all the time.
that's pretty good. Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk myself into something now, but the elemental things at the end of that movie would be a really fun like build.
Ooh. You probably already missed a big anniversary for
Oh,
it, so
I'm
you have to
sure.
wait.
Yeah. There'll be another one next year.
What you should do is merge the two. You should make them elemental stones like Captain Planet, though, right? Like it's the Captain
Ooh.
Planet symbols as the elemental
What if I
stones.
just make one of those big pig armor guys? Oh, that's pretty good. Let's see. Let's get back on track here. The robot was pretty
Oh
accurate
yeah,
to the original. I thought was pretty nice.
primo. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that a lot. You will be decimated.
Destroy all systems. Destroy
Yeah.
Robinson family. I was like, wow, that's a pretty direct order.
I wrote that the scene where Don West is like attacking the robot to get it
Yeah.
to stop was a lot. It was very reminiscent, even though this is a reverse and the other thing came later, was like Tony using the screwdriver inside the
Oh
Ultron
yeah.
robot. It was very similar. So like he's on top of this robot thing and like trying to jam like things in
Yeah.
the neck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is pretty cool. I like that Dr. Smith is found out to be a bad guy like right off the bat.
Immediately.
And it's not this long running
No,
thing.
no. It's like, yeah, you're
Um,
not gonna fool us. We know you're a bad guy.
that's the one thing I kind of remember from the Netflix season one was that like the Dr. Smith character was like very
Yeah,
conniving and like they all trusted her the whole time. It's like,
you're
oh.
right.
So as soon as he showed up, they're like, "Oh, you sabotaged the ship. You did all this stuff. You're a bad guy. You're going in
Right.
lock up." Like immediately, it was like, "Nice, nice." I thought that the hyperdrive was really cool. It was like a two-man, like nuclear launch style key.
Oh
Remember when
yeah.
they had to
Yeah.
engage hyperdrive. They both had to be like on opposite ends of the bridge.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty
That was
snowy.
pretty cool actually, yeah.
I'll put one of those in my basement. So on one side of the wall, and on the other side of the wall, so it takes two people to like activate like the screen projector for like movies and stuff.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You'll have it start with the sound with the thing, right? Destroy Robinson family, and then the screen will start to come down.
All the smoke, like fog comes out of the ceiling.
Right.
So yeah, so then they do one of the things that I enjoy in all space sci-fi franchises is they find a derelict ship.
Always.
It's pretty great, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do love it. It is a trope, but I do really love it. It's just like I love things that are decayed and destroyed anyway, but then you add that like in the space,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty fun.
It is cool.
Like a just a cold, dead metal ship floating out in space.
And then the crazy thing of it ended up being like people, right? Like people from Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Right.
Lenny James. He was out looking
Yeah.
for him. He's like, I'm not gonna stop looking. It's been 25 years. I'm not stop looking for these guys. And I was like, they're like, how was he saying it's been 25 years when we're just finding it? It's like, time works different in space there, guys. You guys
Yeah,
are like
yeah.
astrophysicists and you don't understand, like, I think we went through a time warp.
The only way we're gonna get out of this is if we go through the sun. Through it?
Through it. The other funny thing about that was like in that scene where you're seeing like Lenny James and he's recording
Mm.
it. It looks like he's on a planet, like all the like
Oh
vines
yeah.
and stuff behind him. But then when they keep going further into the ship, like part of that ship has been, um, what do they call it?
Yeah.
The actual
Yeah. It's like the bio area.
hydroponics.
Hydroponics, yeah.
Yeah, at least that's what Dead Space is. Hydroponics. Yeah, it's all been like kind of taken over. I was like, that's cool.
And that's where they meet Blarp.
Blarp.
Is that his
I
name?
just wrote down Spink Pink Space Monkey. Yeah, I don't remember his name. It was something awful. So it was literally Eliza Thornberry and Donnie. Was it Donnie? Darwin? Darwin, yeah. From
Blop.
Wild Thornberries. Blop. What was the monkeys in Wild Thornberry? What was his name? Was it Donnie or Darwin? I think it was Darwin.
Darwin, probably.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
Heather Graham, that was the girl's name, not Heather Locklear. Heather Graham.
Heather Graham, yeah, that's right. The
And the other girl that you have sadly been talking about more frequently than you want
oh
is
god.
Penny, is that Lacey Chabert girl
Mhm.
from Mean Girls. She's one of the Mean Girls.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's obviously not what's her name,
She's
but
just
yeah,
one of
she's
them. Yeah, that's funny. I don't recognize her.
she's
Oh,
in
it
this one.
long. Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Watch your back.
I literally thought she had not done anything after like this movie.
No, she's been in tons of stuff, yeah.
Hmm. She has a pretty unique voice in it. Like as soon as I heard it,
Yeah.
thought
I
that was
think she
pretty.
went on and did a lot of like Hallmark movies.
How how old was she in this movie?
Yeah.
Because they do a couple weird things with her in this movie,
Yes.
like with Joey specifically.
She's like, ooh.
Oh, he's so hot.
uh,
Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is
she
so
probably was 15 or 16 years old.
nice. Cool. So, anyway, back on the derelict ship.
Okay, okay.
I thought that like the military helmet thing was cool. That like
Oh,
activated that
isn't
was
that great?
pretty Dead Spacey, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Then the quote I wrote down was that he said the air is stale. And then they said that's the smell of ghosts. I was like, oh, that's a good one.
Nice.
Then I
Yeah.
wrote down that dripping eggs in space is it's always bad. It's always not. It's never good.
Always
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
No. Nope. No. Also, if it looks really weird, if it looks like it probably will hurt you, it's definitely going to hurt
Yeah,
you.
it's
Because
going to.
now I know this was playing to a '90s audience, and
Uh-huh.
we were just popcorn eaters back then. We didn't have education of what movies needed to be.
Uh-huh.
But to me, as a sci-fi writer, I think it would have been much more satisfying for them to get into that hydroponics thing, and then a nasty looking spider like that jumps them. They're like, oh God, and then it's totally fine. It's like a
Hmm.
plant eater. And then the eggs open up and it's those terrible pink multicolored monkeys coming out of the thing and chasing him. You would be like, oh, those things shouldn't hurt you. It's like the whole Galaxy Quest thing, right? They're like, oh, look, they're helping him to the water, and they tear him apart. It's like it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, the cute thing is yeah.
Right. The cute thing is the awful thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. How rough is the CGI on that monkey though?
Really good.
It's really rough.
Yeah, it's not good. There's like a couple shots of it that are like passable, but most of it is really bad.
It's worse than Jumanji.
Mm,
I just recently
yeah.
watched Jumanji, and some of those monkeys pretty bad, but this one's worse.
The only thing is, though, I know we're like flash forwarding ahead with this comment, but is the monkey worse than mutated professor? Because some of that wasn't excellent either. That was very close to Dwayne Johnson as the Scorpion King. It was
It really
very
was. Yeah, it
similar.
really was. Same year?
No, actually, like 4 or 5 years before.
Oh man, that is funny.
But just to go back to it, I
The
love
monkeys might have
the
pooped his
Don
pants.
West Iron Man like
Yeah,
metal thing. I love
that's
that guy.
exactly what I wrote. That's exactly what I wrote. I said,
Because the
Will is
toy I
now
had too,
Iron
that's what
Robot
his
Man.
yeah. The toy I had, he had that's what he had. Like that was his helmet, like his
Pretty
head.
cool.
I love that thing.
Yeah. Did his boots like magnetize to the thing? Or am I remembering that wrong now? Do I
Maybe,
have like Mandela effect?
maybe. But there's a lot of movies that do that. So, but I think maybe.
It's just one of those things where it makes sense in space, right? Like it makes
Yeah.
sense on a spaceship to have like
Oh,
the
sure.
ability to metalize your boots for like, repairs and
Anything.
engineering and all that stuff.
Right.
That's why like to me Isaac Clarke is such a great character because it's like dude, he's just the maintenance guy.
Right.
But it's like he has the ability to do all this stuff because like his suit functions this way because it's usually because he needs to get to that valve up there and he's got to like gravitize up
Right.
there
Right.
to the plate, you know. So it's just cool. It's a functioning character that like works in for like a
Yeah.
step in action hero, you know.
Yep.
So
That's why our Isaac Clarke is just as cool.
yeah, sometimes
He's got a hand that can go into anything.
that's you know. Yeah, so that
Oh,
was pretty
a
great.
hand that can turn into anything. Excuse me. Excuse me.
No, it can go into anything. The uh wow wow wee wow. Let's see.
They
Do.
blow up the giant thing, and all the spiders go to it and die.
Oh yeah, even though he told
And,
him
and
not
the
to.
professor gets scratched, and then
Uh-huh.
immediately, as a doctor, isn't worried about this giant infection.
No, God, no. He doesn't even look at it. He just
It's
itches it the rest of his life.
like, oof, that's weird.
Oh, so itchy. I don't know. I don't know. It couldn't be bad getting scratched by some unknown creature in space. I'm sure that'll be totally fine.
Not problem.
Do. I wrote down here that he got a the pistol upgrade and his helmet Mark II. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember what that was. Oh, his gun like the lasers didn't like kill the spider, so he like upgraded. He took the stuff out of that like case and like clipped all this like stuff on the gun to like extend it
Oh,
and I think that's when the helmet fully like comes all the way down.
okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I do remember. I also wrote that
But they leave the robot here too, right? The robot blows up.
they do leave the robot. Yeah, the robot shuts the door and gets them all out of there.
Yeah, that's right. Because the kid's inside that cool, like, holographic thing, right? He's like picking the thing off and shooting
I
them.
I wrote too. I love the robot using like repeating Will's voice. I thought was
Oh,
really really funny in a
yeah.
lot of scenes.
Yes.
It was like, "Mom says run like hell."
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
robot's like that's pretty funny. Pretty good.
yeah.
Even like in the beginning of this, he kind of bumps into the guy, the doctor, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, Doctor Smith." I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, that's pretty funny." I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was good actually. Yeah. I forgot that happened.
oh man, yeah. So now they crash on Hoth. They always so
Always.
it's yeah,
And they always crash totally fine, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
parts of
totally
the
fine.
ships don't like rip apart and they're just like, whew, that was rough. We just need to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Nothing's damaged. No parts of the ship are ripped open and exposed. Nope.
Well, we just got to retighten the fuselage, and I think we should be
Just
good.
got to retighten this and get some fuel, and we're good to go. Oh, how
You'll
convenient!
never believe it, but those four screws that don't actually hold anything in the back, those came out.
Those came out. Can't launch without them back in.
But the problem is that we don't have fuel.
Here's the thing.
We need more black matter to fuel the hyper
Yeah.
cannon nuclear drive. It's like, oh, of course we do. Yeah.
But if we just roll the snow up together,
Where are we gonna find that on a deserted planet?
what's this giant bubble doing here in space? Yeah.
Well, just like you said, the doctor getting scratched, and it was like they showed it again. It was all bubbled up and all disgusting.
Oh,
It was like, why is he not looking at it? Why is he not?
right.
Why is
He
he
was,
not?
but and that was the thing I took issue with is he's inside it's before they launch, and he's inside the like crawl space, and he does something. I can't remember what it is. And he gets
Oh,
like
he tries
something
to
on his
find that
hand.
data pad, right?
Is that what it is?
He was really looking for
He's
that
doing
data
something
pad.
in the crawl space, and he does something, and he goes like this, like, oh, ooh. Like he gets something on his hands, and he's like, ooh, gross. Like he doesn't like, or he chips a nail or something. He does something,
Yeah.
and he gets all like bothered with it, and then flash forward, like he's got this disgusting, like festering thing on his back, and he's just like, la 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 la, just over here, just doing, like looking at things.
Oh, well, that sounds back. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, because the professor's got a professor so that he can be a giant monstrosity at
He
the end
looks
of
like the type of person that sleeps on his stomach, so you
it.
wouldn't notice.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Mm-mm. He wouldn't know. He wouldn't notice that there's a big bump on his back. Oh
Could you
boy.
imagine
And
like
that
Don coming in or Mr. Robinson coming in and like seeing it and they're like, nah, I'm not gonna say anything.
nah,
He
nah.
deserves it.
Yeah, this guy's a piece. Oh, yeah, so here's a funny note I took. It says a Waltons reference, really? And I
Oh
wrote
yeah.
good night, Robinson family.
Yeah. So great thing. I saved this picture to my phone.
Oh boy.
Good thing you said that. I would have forgot. So it's a thing that I always find really funny. So when things are from the past that are created in the past
Uh-huh.
are now like remade like in our time,
Yeah.
and how like everything typically has like it's a thing where we take things for granted, but in reality, like this doesn't really make sense. Like you look at Superman. Like how many people do you know are named Clark? Like almost no.
Griswold.
Right. But that's a movie person, right? Like, it's the same. It's
I
just
don't
a
think I've
thing
met
where,
one person named Clark or Bruce.
right. I know at least a couple Bruces, but not many.
Do you? Wow.
Yeah,
What do they do at
but
night?
I think they sleep. So,
Lame.
but it's like it's like old names that are now used in modern society, and it's really funny. So you think about it, like Henny,
Uh-huh.
like the military guy's name is Don West. Like what? It's clearly like a
Yeah.
60s name.
Don Draper.
So just for a reference, I took a picture of that movie that we went and saw years ago, Passengers,
Oh yeah.
to be like, what were their names? So Chris Pratt's guy's name is very boring. It's Jim Preston. It's very boring.
Uh-huh.
But Jennifer Lawrence's name is Aurora Lane,
Penny.
and Lawrence Fishburne, who plays the captain guy, his name is Gus Mancuso.
Gus.
And I'm like, this is perfect because like it matches with the time. Like you're not gonna name people like that man's name is Samuel Williams. Like it's not. I don't know. It's just funny to me. It always makes me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Certain names they just scream old.
Yeah.
Leonard McCoy. It's like that's an old name.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the same thing with like Rosemary,
Right.
Harriet.
Right.
Yeah.
Just funny.
Margaret.
Yeah. Yeah, name a little baby. Look, it's Margaret. And everybody's like, oh, what did you do to her?
Oh, that child's ruined. Yeah. Well, it's the same when you're like, this is my baby Ferrari.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
yeah, that's
what? This is my baby Apple because I love Apple products.
apples because I
Oh,
love
yeah, you didn't
salads.
need to be having children. You, I love salad.
We eat salads every day for
This is my daughter Boba. Oh
oh god.
God. Oh, so stupid. Uh, Waltons, yeah. Them going through the portal was a cool effect, I thought.
Yes, yeah, like pushing through and all the like yeah, yeah.
They finally drops the line, "Danger, Will Robinson."
Yes.
I wrote down that Will's the dumbest smart kid I ever met
Yep.
because you have to, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes in and gets the doctor, and he's like, "I'm not allowed to have guns, but you can have a gun and take
Right.
me to the." It's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And
Great
it's also
idea.
it's just pretty much like, remember in the show, Will Robinson and the professor, they're
Hmm.
kind of like friends-ish. So it's like you
Yeah.
have to have this in the movie. So he has to just randomly trust the professor kind of for no reason.
Yeah. I know, and the professor was playing him so hard too. He's like, "Oh
Oh
well,
yeah.
your dad's probably dead, I'm sure." Like, well, you can take me out. Moron.
Yeah.
I
He
wrote
plays him good though. He plays him
yeah, he
good.
does. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, he's good. I wrote, "Ooh, Robinson graves are pretty snazzy."
Yeah, so is that where they show the dog tags?
Yeah.
So I didn't look it up. I wasn't sure if the dog tag numbers meant anything, if the actual numbers on them meant anything, but I thought it was a missed opportunity to do the TV shows like Lost in Space, the like premiere date of the show.
Oh,
Like that would have been cool to have
that would be
like
cool.
whatever as like the numbers on the dog tag.
Yeah. Yeah, that is cool. Um, what was it that they found specifically in the grave?
He finds her like her like
Recorder
diary
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love popcorn. I love popcorn or whatever it was. It was something like that. I kept repeating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was like I haven't kissed Billy or something. It was something so yeah. It was
It
something
was
whatever.
something really bad and really annoying that kept playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Um, I forgot about this entire ending. I forgot that like old Will is still like there on the
Yeah.
planet and everybody's dead.
Yeah.
I thought it's funny that now that Will's old, he's now British.
Yes. Yes.
Because because if you know, this is Sherlock Holmes's brother.
Yes.
I was like, this guy's British. But he's like really good in this, you know, and
He's great.
he's wearing like clothes that are like too small for him. He's like, look at what I've done with the ship.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But I think it's supposed to I think the way they get away with it is I think it's supposed to show that he kind of talks like the professor.
Hmm.
He
Oh
has
yeah,
like
because he's
that
been with him for 30
right,
years. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah, I like that reveal too. We're like, oh, I didn't survive alone. She's like,
Yeah, yeah. It's always
I taught him everything he knows.
hands and everything. You done well, Will
Well,
Robinson.
you've done it. Both eating like a fly,
Yeah,
like ripping the head off.
yeah, yeah.
God. Um, mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I said that the planet has not been kind to Will. It's been 20 years, but he looks like he's in his late 40s.
Yes, yeah. How interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I feed on spider egg sacs. and sandwiches.
I said, this is a funny note. It's funny going back and reading stuff that you wrote, months ago that you don't even remember writing.
Oh yeah,
I said
yeah.
Spider Smith could be a Smith Lord. Couldn't he be like a
Oh,
like a
tremendously.
like a Sith like in any Star Wars movie?
Oh, he's definitely Palpatine in like all ways possible.
But if he took his cloak off, he'd have like 6 arms. He'd be like General Kenobi.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he reminded me of. I thought that was funny.
it'd be like,
Oh, then I wrote Spider Smith in full
I've
glory,
taken them from every.
Mortal Kombat style. So do you remember?
Oh,
Remember how bad that movie
yes,
is? That's what I would compare this CGI
yep,
to, was Mortal Kombat.
it's true. Yeah, it was. Yeah, finish him.
And he does too. And he
The
was
thing
like,
that was also
hey,
just so much, I was like, it's just it was fine, and it's fine, and I don't doesn't ruin the movie, but it's
this
just that like,
portal can only take one person.
no, not that line, no, not that. It's it's when John Robinson is fighting the professor,
Yeah.
and he's like, blah blah blah, and he's getting angry at him, and then he's like, and then they do this thing where they call back to the spiders like eating other spiders that are injured, and he's like, that's right, don't you remember what happens? They eat their wounded, and he's like, oh, what? And they start like, like attacking him, and then he kicks him into the thing.
That's
I
pretty good.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
do. Yeah. Well, no, and you remember what he says before he does it? Before it's either before or after he does it. He says, "I couldn't kill the man, but I can kill the monster."
yeah, yeah,
It's like he's been a monster for like the last 20 years.
yeah. Or has he?
Or has he? No, he always was.
Oh, okay, okay.
Even when he wasn't a spider and still. So see how I did that? I was very surprised that the Jupiter blows up. Like just like blows up. I
Yeah,
was like, what? But then I was like, oh yeah, time
time,
portal.
time portal. You can do anything when there's time properties. I also felt like it needed to
I
kind of do like a Back to the Future thing that I was a little disappointed that like when his dad goes through the thing and he looks back and he's like, "Bye, father."
Oh, he should have
Right?
disappeared.
I was hoping he was gonna like it's not happening. Like it's like he was gonna show that like that future was like
I'm
disappearing.
starting to forget.
Yeah, right, right.
Well, so here's what's funny. The whole ship is full of like these top brain scientists,
Right.
like physicists and scientists and everything, and they're like, "Come with us, come
Yeah,
with us." Like, he can't come with you.
you can't do that.
Like, he can't. Not only can you only use the portal with one person, but also like he can't he can't come into the past. Like that's a
Or
anyways.
can he?
I thought it was very funny that the Jupiter blew up from getting hit by one rock, but then they drive it straight through the core of the
Yeah, no problem.
planet.
Yeah. That one meteor was like clink, and it was like, oh boy. And then when they were driving, it was fine. As
Yeah,
long as you don't
bouncing off
hit
of
that
bouncing
sweet
off of
spot. Yeah.
I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah. What if we fly through the planets?
Oh man. I I did say here in my notes that I did enjoy the ending. I did. I thought that the idea of them constantly having to jump
Yeah.
from danger to danger into new adventures was a pretty good send off for
Yeah.
the family.
What even happens at the end? I don't remember. They jump and then it kind of like I remember it being like, uh-oh, maybe they're not really like they're just jumping into another situation.
I think they get out of there and they're like, well, there's nowhere to direct where we go if we jump, but it's better than here. And they're like, wow, down, lost in space, lost in space.
Right, because
Yeah,
don't they fly through the thing and they come out and they're like going into a black hole? There's something crazy
yeah,
happening, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a black hole. And they're like, let's jump. And they're like,
They're like, yeah,
they
but
just
we're not.
endlessly,
Yeah, that's right.
they just
Love and
endlessly jump,
pay.
jumping through space. Yeah, and that is it. That
Yeah.
was a movie that took us as long as it took to film, I'm sure, to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty snazzy, pretty snazzy. So yeah, I don't know. It's a fun
So
movie. It's not on my list to rewatch anytime soon. I'll tell you that.
no, no. I might like well, I might want to watch it again 25 years from now. Yeah. Just be in
That
my
would.
early 60s and be like, let's watch
I
this thing.
remember this movie from when I was a child.
I like how
Oh,
I like that I sound like I'm in my 90s though.
well, that's just anybody over 40 to
No, I
me.
know. It's just funny. I just think like your dad's like 6 or 7 years older than that, and he's not like, oh God.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Oh man,
I
but
feel like I remember this guy from some show about.
hmm,
I think there was a bunch of them in New York. They all were kind of like friendly.
you can't appreciate.
They were on a break.
Yeah. Oh, that man was from when Marvel was good, not whatever's out now.
I lived through the Snyderverse. I saw it all.
I saw it, everything. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh
funny.
man.
I liked it. Like I said, it's definitely lost in time with its like references and
Hmm.
just how it's filmed and the dialogue. And I looked up, I think too, I looked up like who was the writer and like they wrote like
Nobody.
really good movies. No, they wrote like really good
Really?
movies. It was crazy. Yeah, I was like,
Mm.
this doesn't make any sense. Like, why would this be kind of like because they give you a whole list of names, and I was like, why? And then you go, it's like, well, this guy's dead, this guy's dead, this guy's dead. And I'm like, oh, because they're the old 60s writers. They like
Yeah.
attribute the writers to the yeah, to Akiva Goldsman, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Akiva Goldsman is like an executive producer on Strange New Worlds.
Huh.
He doesn't write for Strange New Worlds, but at least that I know of, but like he helps get it off the ground.
He won Best Screenplay for A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like he writes he's like
Oh,
wrote half of the like
him
modern
and
Star Trek. He's
him,
written
yeah, him and Ron Howard did they adapted the Da Vinci Code novel to the movie.
yeah, he did I Am Legend, I
Oh,
Robot.
oh, he did DC Comics TV series Titans.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it's just
Star
really
Trek
funny.
Picard, Star Trek Next Generation, Star
Yep.
Trek Nemesis, Strange New Worlds, original series. Not the original series, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's a New York City boy. Very
Yeah.
nice.
And then he's like a producer on Deep Blue Sea,
Oh, wow.
Poseidon.
A shark ate me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Nowhere on here does it say anything about Lost. Oh, here it is.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
Producer, and writer. Did
yep.
not direct it. Did not direct
No,
it
no, no,
though.
no. Just really, really funny. That's all. It makes
He
me laugh.
directed Winter's Tale. I don't know what that is. Oh, he also did The Dark Tower.
Oh, yep.
I don't think that did too good.
Probably not.
Untitled Constantine sequel. So he's currently working on that.
Probably
Nice. That's crazy. He's been all over the place.
all over the place.
Huh. What's A Time to Kill?
Time to Kill.
1996 American legal drama film based on John Grisham's. Oh,
Oh, the
it,
Matthew
it
McConaughey movie.
yeah, it won the worst films. It won an
Did it?
award for the worst film. Yeah.
I've never seen it. It's
The
got Matthew
Golden
McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, and Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nominated for the Golden Raspberry
Wow.
for the worst
I
film
wonder why.
grossing over 100 million. I don't know. I'm sure. Probably McConaughey
I've
is
never really
really
heard anything.
McConaughey. All right,
Maybe
all
I don't know.
right,
I've never
all
heard
right.
anything bad about the movie. If anything, I've heard good things about the movie. I've never seen
Really?
it, but
That's interesting. It's interesting that it was
yeah,
nominated.
I've only heard. That's funny. Maybe now it
All
doesn't
right,
hasn't
all
aged
right,
well
all
because I
right.
know it
Well,
deals with like racist things. So
I know a lot of John Grisham's books that have been turned into movies have always not been great. So
oh
that's what
yeah.
I've always heard. And that's what I
So I'm
continue
just
to
gonna
hear.
say this just to
Don't.
make Caleb upset. So this ends our 90s rewind, and now to move on to our 2000s. No, no.
Oh, now we're going even further to the 80s. Rewind.
Yeah, but the 80s rewind it'll only be good.
There's so the thing is, honestly, if we wanted to continue this series, there are other things in the 90s that we had kind of as like runner-ups. The
Mhm.
qualifier for this was like we wanted to be movies that aren't like so like popular or known. Like there's obvious movies
Right.
that we loved in the 90s, but
Right.
we wanted to do kind of ones that are like, oh yeah, I do remember really enjoying that as a kid, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, for instance, we can go back, we could watch Small Soldiers. We
Oh
could
yeah.
watch The Iron Giant was a movie I watched was as a kid
Yep.
very, very frequently.
Yep. Um,
Steel with Shaq. I mean that's a
oh yeah,
masterpiece.
yeah.
Mars
Yeah.
Attacks. I used to watch that as a
Mars
kid
Attacks. Yep.
constantly. The
Oh yeah.
X-Files movie. I mean, come on, it's endless.
Yeah. Ba-la-la-la-la. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot
Teenage
in there.
Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Secret of the Ooze, 1991. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Balto is a movie I used to watch all the
Yeah,
time. That was
Balto.
95.
Yep.
These are all just things I'm railing off my head too. I'm not even looking. I just
Why
know
would you
them.
have to?
No, I just not. I just know
Mrs. Doubtfire.
them. 96. Yeah, I know. Know it well. Know it well.
Oh, what was a drive-by fruity?
It was a pleasure to meet you. No, that's a whole series we should do is just Robin Williams.
Oh,
The
mm,
Bicentennial Man, watch the Jumanji.
Jumanji, yeah.
Jumanjo. I don't know if I can sit
Jumanjo.
through Jumanji again.
Yeah. RV.
That's a good one. With Lindsay Lohan.
Gosh, I just remember Jeff Daniels. I
Yeah.
don't remember. Like Kristen Chenoweth or something. I don't. That's all I remember.
I remember yeah, his wife, the part where she's singing the My Little GTO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I think it was Lindsay Lohan was the daughter, or
Okay.
Lizzie McGuire. It's one of those. It's one of those dated movies that's like, oh, these people were popular on Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the sky is open, and the thing is there's already a playlist on the channel for 90s Rewind. It's got 11 in there. No, it doesn't. That's a different playlist.
Four.
It's
It's
got
got
a
a four.
it's got four. It will have five, but it's already made the playlist, so we have to just keep going. We have to just keep doing it. So
Well, it's got three in there now, and now it'll have four.
yeah.
Sorry.
So
The brain.
we gotta keep going. We gotta just keep going.
Well, this is where everybody, right? All the watchers go down to the comment section and give us suggestions.
What's a movie from the 90s that you love that you want us to just trash all
Trash all over.
Let's do it. Let's watch it and we'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
Then we can, and Caleb can respond in the comment section. No.
No. I hate that movie. No,
It's
do it.
Matilda.
Well, it's got Danny DeVito and I can sit through it.
That is true. I can deal with it.
Yeah. Chocolate's too good for little children.
Chocolate.
Can I have a slice of chocolate cake? Yeah, I guess it's through Matilda. It's been forever since I've seen it, so I honestly it'd be
same,
like a new movie. It would be a new movie for me.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Cool. All right. Well, that'll do it. That'll wrap up this section
We did it.
of the 90s rewind. And we're still.
As long as your computer doesn't break down, we did it. We did it.
I just wish I could figure out how to like animate and just be like, I don't feel so good, and then just turn to dust.
Oh,
Like and float out into space.
yeah. I thought you were gonna say turn into a giant spider monster, but turning into dust would have been good too. Yeah.
That's the effect in Jumanji when he gets turned
The
into
hunter goes, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the hunter at the end, yeah. But in the
Yeah.
very beginning when
When Alan's getting actually,
he rolls the thing and his hands are like and then they're like waving
yeah.
and like being like sucked into the board.
Yes. Right before we go, because you reminded me of it, it says it's not Jumanji, it's Zathura, right?
Yeah, this is a thorough, yeah.
So it's my, I think I've talked about it, and there's probably in one of your other nerd hole videos.
Doubt it.
It's my favorite thing from almost any movie ever. Is he's on the ship and he's trying to get to the other side of the thing. He's looking for something. The kid's looking for something, and he's like sidestepping through this like
Oh
pen.
yeah.
And he's like, it's just the sheep. It's just the sheep. It's just the sheep. And then the eyeball thing like looks over and it turns and it's like three eyes or something or five eyes. And he's like, it's not a sheep. It's not a sheep, but he's still like moving. Oh God, it just gets me every time.
It's just a goat. It's just a goat. It's just a goat. Not a goat. It's not a goat. It's not a goat. It's not a goat. It's not a goat.
It's very funny. It's very funny. Yeah. I forget about that movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
And what's the other one that you were telling me that I always compare it to that I always forget what it is? The
Die Another Day.
guide. No, the guide. Yeah, so he's in this tube.
Yeah, I thought He's
So, what's the space one with Martin Freeman?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, never seen it.
I think
Never
you'd
read
like
the
it.
book.
It's kind of right up
I'm
your
sure I
alley.
would. Yeah, I'm sure I'd love it, but just don't have the time.
Nope. We're not doing
Well,
2000s rewind, so get out of here.
No, you were joking. So cute. All right, so join us next week for
Sam
Small
Rockwell
Soldiers. It does have Sam. Gorgonaut.
Gorgons.
Gorgons.
We are Gorgons.
Damn.
Chip Hazard. Yep.
Chip Hazard. Yeah, that's a good.
Major Chip Hazard. Yep.
Yeah, we should do that though. Honestly, we should watch Small
Hold on a second.
Soldiers.
Just hold on a second.
Oh, God.
Just-
A few moments later.
This is the proper way to end our Lost in Space thing. If you want more, let us know below. You'll like it, you'll subscribe, you'll comment below. Because next time we might talk about
Is that an original Burger King toy?
that's the original Burger King toy of all
You have all of them?
of
Oh,
the Commandos.
oh. And I have all the Gorgonauts.
I think I have some Gorgons in here.
That's crazy
Yeah,
that you
they're-
have those. Are they like plush?
This guy's plush.
Uh,
This is the eyeball guy. I think this is the crazy one.
oh yeah.
Who, like spin. No, wait, this is the animal. No, this is the animal one where he rides him. Yep. Yep.
That's,
So
wow. Pretty snazzy. I can't believe you have those.
yeah, I
Still
bought
in
them
the
like such a
original-
long time ago to display them, and then I never did. So they stayed in the box.
Uh, wow. Yeah, so let's do it.
Hey.
Let's do it.
Thanks for
It's been
getting
a long time.
lost in another
In
space hole.
space. Danger.